Hi, this is Marsha Jeans, and I'm going to show you a few tips and tricks on how to get started making your own Google website. So first you're going to go to sites.google.com. Make sure you're logged in under your Google account, and then over on the left hand side you're going to click Create. Now my recommendation is to pick a template. However, there's some templates that are better than others. I highly recommend you stay away from this one that says classroom site that's on the main page. It's a little bit overly complicated. So we're going to click for Browse the Gallery for more. Just for the sake of time, I'm going to click on Schools and Education. And if you see something you kind of like here's one, a classroom website, you can look at it. And if you want to click this link that says Gadget from Template Directory, you kind of see at least the general layout. Now, one thing I like about this is it's fairly clean. It's not overly complicated. You know, it's got a few little links right here. That's awful nice. I can close that out, or I could use this template over on the top right, but I want to browse some more, so I can just close that. And let's see if we can find some other things that might be of interest. Go to Schools and Education. Here's a corkboard one, and this one I'm going to use for today's purposes. So I'm going to hit select. Now, before I can actually start editing my site, I have to give my site a name. So just for today's purposes, I'm just going to call it my practice website. Of course, you're going to name yours something a little bit different. Down here, it puts the URL or the web address as practice website, but I'm going to guarantee you that's not going to be available because all those URLs are unique to everybody in the whole world using Google Sites. So you may have to fiddle a little bit before you get a URL that will work. I am going to, so I don't have to mess with it, I'm going to put some random letters in here, and hopefully that will be available. I don't suggest you do that. You need to take some time and think about it. Alright, I'm going to type the code and then I'm going to hit create. I believe that it's going to work. Alright, voila. Now, on the templates, anytime you see this text, it's Latin and basically it's just a filler. They're just putting in some fake text, and anytime you see that, they're saying you can put your own text in there. So never leave that stuff in there. It's got kind of a suggested pages over here for you. It's got a couple little gadgets in here like this one. You know, you could put in an event and it will count down until the days, you know, that your event is coming. But any of these things you can remove, you can tweak a little bit once you've got it. So probably the first thing I would do is decide, what do you want your main pages to be called? I'm on the home page, so think about when they first come to their home page, it should have a little bit of information about the website, maybe a little bit about you. So this is the landing page, unlike a blog where there's only one page you go to and then you just read the post. This one's going to have multiple pages. So over here on the left are all the different pages. Like they've got one called Activities, and there's a little calendar down there. Remember, if you don't want the calendar, you can just get rid of the calendar. I mean, there's one on this home page right here. It's just kind of showing you some different possibilities. But it's really easy to change the names of these. So that's one of the first things I would do. What are your big, broad categories or pages you want? And how you do that is you go to the one you want to change. So maybe I don't want one called Activities. And I go to the pencil up in the top right hand corner. So that means I'm going to edit this page. And where it says Activities, I may just change it to Homework. And when I save that, notice over here it says Activities. But when I save it, now it says Homework. Pretty cool, huh? So go through, decide what do you want these pages to be called. Now this stuff of interest is a unique page because it's like a blog. So you have a blog within your website, and these blog posts right here are going to get are getting pulled into your main page. So there's always 2 of them showing on your main page. This is where you can go and see all of them. So once you've kind of decided what you want over here, if you want to rename anything, you can always add additional pages. So if this is not quite enough, it's really simple to add an additional page. You just come up to the icon up here where it says Create Page, and you click on it and you name your page. What template do you want to use? There's a few to choose from. Generally, I would kind of keep it as a web page. If you have a lot of files that you want to upload, there's something called a file cabinet. So a lot of documents, that might be a great thing to do. But web page in general is pretty good. And then you can put it under the home, or you can just put it at the top level. Let me just show you what putting it at the top level looks like. And then you just hit Create. And voila. So if you put it under the top level, it's at the same level that home is, and I kind of like that. But you can, if you have subcategories, you could have end up putting it underneath some other things, and there you go. So you can add files, you can do all sorts of stuff that you want to this page, and I'll show you how to do those in a little bit. All right, now let me go back to home, and notice I've got some of these little, like, I don't want this that says certified over the top design, or 1,603 days since next event. So in order to adjust these here, if they're on the side, what you're going to do is you're going to go to the gear and you're going to edit site layout, because that's kind of the layout of it. And if I click, notice here when I click or I put my cursor over these little objects, I can edit. So this one, you can put an event, like let's say we've got something going on that's coming up, like field day, and field day is, well, it's not 2010. Let's skip on over here to, I'll just pick May 14th and hit OK. Yay, only 85 days. Now over in here on this text box, again, I can just click on it and I can get rid of anything I want. This might be a great place to, you could put about me, you could put a little information about the teacher, you could put a little information, you could put a class schedule, anything like that. You can go in here. So I'm just going to type, da-da-da, you like my typing? And da-da-da, and then hit OK. And hopefully, there, it changed it. All right, so then I'm going to hit close. If there's any other things too, you know, like on this navigation, sometimes you can move things around, but sometimes it's a little tricky to do that. So I'm going to hit close. And now let's talk about tweaking or editing some of the things that are already on these pages. So for example, I see here, I certainly don't want this Latin gibberish, and I don't want it to say image 1. I want to put a real picture there. So let me just show you how you tweak some of these. So you're going to click on the pencil for editing that page. And this is super simple. You just come up here, you can highlight all that, delete it, and then type what you want. Okay? Pretty easy. Here's your controls over your fonts up at the top. Now the image is a little bit different. To get rid of that, actually, you should, you click on it, and there's this little thing. I actually am going to remove it. Okay, so remove the red X, or the X, sorry, it's not red. And then I can insert a picture or an image of my own choosing. And you can upload images. So I'm going to go on my computer. Oh, I've got a cute little doggy picture here. I'm going to put him on there. And I upload it from, and I have it saved, of course, on my computer. So you might kind of think about what you want on your web page for pictures. And there it goes. And I'm going to pick it. And then I'm going to hit OK. And then it's huge. Like, it's like monstrous. So I can choose the different sizes. I certainly don't want the original size because it takes up more space that I want. If I put small, it kind of looks like that. And then I do have some choices about text, whether it's wrapped. See, there's wrapping is on. If wrapping is off, the text isn't going to end up going below it. I really don't want that, so I'm going to have wrapping on. And then if I just click somewhere else outside of there, voila, that's good. All right. Now, calendar. This little thing tells you how to replace the calendar, but when I looked at it, the directions were outdated. Now, this tip, actually, I need to remove that. I don't want the words tip how to replace this calendar to appear on my website. So I'm going to click there. And one thing, the biggest mistake people make about putting it in a calendar is on the when you go to Google Calendar, and let's say you have a calendar for your classroom or for your homework or for practice, like like if it's a sports club, you have to make sure the calendar is set at public. Otherwise, you can put it on your web page and it's going to look great for you, but it's not going to look great for anybody else. So make sure that you go to Google Calendar, you click on your calendar, you go to settings, and you set it at public. Otherwise, it's not going to do you much good. So how you actually get your calendar in here instead of some fake calendar is you click on the calendar gadget. So here, and there's a gear, and I want to hit display another calendar. Now it knows I'm logged in. It's me. So it's going to look at my calendars that I've created in Google, and I'm going to go, okay, I want this one. All right, that's the one I want. And then you have all sorts of choices. I actually kind of like this agenda view because I don't want this calendar to take up like 3/4 of my page on my main homepage. So agenda view shows like one day at a time. There's other kinds of view. You can do a month and week, but I kind of like that for a smaller. And then it might be good if I put the time zone, which I am on Eastern. Where are you, Eastern? I think you're down here somewhere. Well, there's all sorts of Easterns. I think this is probably good enough. And then you have a few of the display options, and you hit save. Now you're looking, you're like, well, it's not showing anything. Well, it's not going to, and you hit save. So I'm going to hit save. And then let's hope. Voila, there we go. Now this is my stuff. So that's how you replace the calendar. That's how you replace text. Let's go to some of the other pages. Again, contacts, super simple. You're going to click the edit, and then you can customize any of these objects right here. Homework. Oh yeah, definitely don't want, I don't want this calendar in there. So I'm going to hit edit because I already have a calendar, and I can remove this. Hopefully it's going to let me delete this little baby. Right here, I click here, and there's an X. Remove. Voila! And then I can put some other stuff that I want right here. See how easy that is? Super simple.